The more we know, the better voters we can be. So I'll deliver you the facts, straight up, and you make up your own minds.
Was there a moment or incident that spurred you to start USAFacts and doing these Just the Facts videos?
Yeah, there were two things. I got started on USAFacts when my wife and I were talking about our philanthropy focused in on economic mobility. And then that got me generally interested in where does government raise its money, what does it spend it on, and what kind of outcomes. And I found that hard to answer, hence started USAFacts. We're now, since I started that, we're 9 years further in, almost 10 years actually further in, and that's evolved to how do we help educate the American public on these issues, particularly in a year like this, an election year. And we came to the video format as a good tool, which is why we've produced our Just the Facts series.
Let's take a look at the economy and how it is working or not working for you.
These videos are highly produced, they're very slick, but false information and disinformation spreads really quickly online. How can this project counter the virality of bad info?
I don't know that anything will stop people, if you will, exercising their First Amendment rights with untruths. I don't know that. We've kind of defined what we think of as a fact. It's something that happened in the past, not in the present or the future. It's something you could measure numerically and put in context, and it's something that's published by the US government. That's what we've decided a, quote, fact is.
We're in the middle of an election year. Fact checkers are ramping up their work. How do you see how the news business is fact checking right now? Are we doing a good job?
I think it's tough to be in the news business these days because the consumption pattern that the political environment is taking advantage of small snack clips, numbers, using social media. The media is having to use the same tools. We talk about gas prices. Well, gas prices, inflation adjusted, are not actually at a high if you look over the course of the last 25 years. And yet, I think most people say they are at a high, but not inflation adjusted. So context winds up important. And is it easy to, quote, fact check context? It's a little harder to go do that. And it's a little harder then for the media to have the space to do that on social media, for example.
Are you concerned that artificial intelligence could impact these upcoming elections?
Well, I think fakes can. I mean, artificial intelligence is a big, broad word. Will there be fake speeches? And yeah, there probably will be. And will they affect the election? They'll certainly, partisans on both sides will use those to feed the base, if you will. Will that swing elections? I know you have to ask pollster types that question. I hope the center can stay grounded in reality, and the people in the center will spend the time. They're in the center for a reason. That is, they haven't decided. And they'll spend the time to accurately and sort of dispassionately analyze what's true.
We also talked about another tech titan, Elon Musk and X.
Elon Musk purchased the platform. He is another billionaire. He's taking his money in a different direction, I guess. There's been a lot of disinformation and misinformation that has been spread on that platform. You were just alluding to that. How do you see his impact on the information sphere right now?
I think on each of the social media platforms, people can express themselves. And what people express, whether it's on X or TikTok or Instagram, will reflect their view of reality. And sometimes it won't match what I might see as reality. Probably the most different thing about X is it actually is textual, as opposed to video, or as opposed to primarily photographic, because the kinds of things that people use in these evaluations tend to be more textual. Mm-hmm. I mean, would you turn for the latest car accident, would you turn to X, would you turn to Google Maps, or would you turn to Instagram? Probably not Instagram. Yeah. Probably not TikTok. X, yes. So it has it, by its market positioning, it has a little bit different role. Do I generally believe people ought to be able to express themselves? Yes. Do I think there are certain hate speech, et cetera? No. But I'm glad we have a platform in which we can all register our opinions. Exactly how that should be regulated, that's up to our democracy to decide.
So you think he's running things okay there right now? I mean, he is said he's out there for Trump at this point. He could be very influential in this election.
Yeah, look, the fact he said that is interesting, and Twitter, or X users, they know that. Yeah. And so you can put a filter and say, is this man influencing what appears in any way that may express his political opinions? And you might make a different set of judgments on how you read things on X or not. But it's a decision he got to make, and it's a decision his customers get to make. Is he running his business the right way? I don't know. It's his business.
He's losing money.
That's his business. If consumers don't think he's doing the right job for them, guess what? They will leave, or they will put less importance on what they read on X. And it is unusual, I think, for CEOs of most companies to so blatantly express political points of view. But you find it more in the media business. Yeah. I mean, at least historically, I think you've had a lot of editors with power who was clear what their political perspectives were. This may be just the modern day equivalent of that.